The signal came through weak and broken, crackling with static as it reached the deep space listening post orbiting Earth's moon. Officer Mike Torres leaned forward in his chair, adjusting the frequency as the automated systems flagged it as Priority 1. The translation software kicked in, converting the alien language into English. This is ... Kaleri. Under attack. Need help ... Please ... Anyone. The voice was desperate, afraid. Mike felt his stomach tighten as he listened to the screams in the background, the sound of explosions, and then silence. He immediately forwarded the message to Earth Command. Within hours, the war room at Earth Defense Headquarters buzzed with activity. General Harris stood at the center, a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that had seen too many battles. Around her, officers from every branch of Earth's military studied the holographic display showing a star system 40 light-years away. The Kalari are a trading species, explained Dr. Lisa Grant, the xenobiologist. We've had minimal contact with them. They're peaceful, technologically advanced in medicine and agriculture, but, she paused, they have almost no military capability. Who's attacking them? Asked Commander James Reed, head of the Rapid Response Fleet. Raiders. A group called the Vrak. They move from system to system, taking what they want. Technology, resources, slaves. Lisa's face darkened. The Kaleri never stood a chance. General Harris studied the data. The Kalari homeworld, called Kalara Prime, was a garden paradise. Mild weather, abundant food, low gravity, and no major predators. It was the complete opposite of Earth, where everything from the weather to the wildlife seemed designed to kill humans. How fast can we get there? Harris asked. With our new jump drives, 3 days, Reed answered. I can have the assault carrier Phoenix and 6 frigates ready to launch in 6 hours. Harris nodded. Do it. We're going to answer their call. General, one of the younger officers spoke up nervously. Shouldn't we consult with the Galactic Council first? Get permission, or someone is dying right now. Harris cut him off. We'll apologize for the paperwork later. Move out. 3 days later, the human fleet emerged from jump space at the edge of the Kaleri system. What they saw made every crew member's blood run cold. Kalara Prime was burning. 3 large Vrak warships orbited the planet, firing down at the cities below. Smaller raider craft zipped through the atmosphere, hunting civilians. The Kalari's few defense satellites were nothing but floating debris. Battle stations, Commander Reed ordered calmly. All ships combat formation. Phoenix, prepare strike fighters. Let's show these raiders what happens when they pick on the wrong neighbors. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. Weapon systems came online. Fighter pilots ran to their craft. Marines checked their armor and guns. On Kalara Prime, a young Kalari named Mira huddled in a shelter with her family. She was a teacher, her hands soft and unused to violence. Her people had known peace for 3,000 years. They had no concept of war, no understanding of cruelty until the Vrak came. Mother, I'm scared, whispered her younger brother Tal Dot. Their mother held them both, her blue skin pale with fear. The message got through. Someone will come. Someone has to come. Above them, sensors on the Vrak flagship detected the new arrivals. The Vrak captain, a scarred veteran of 100 raids, studied the strange ships. They were smaller than his warships, made of dark metal, covered in weapons. Unknown vessels, this territory is claimed by the Vrak supremacy. Leave now or be destroyed, he transmitted. The response came in clear. Unaccented galactic standard. This is Commander James, Reed of the Earth Defense Force. You have exactly 1 minute to cease fire and withdraw from Kalari space. Failure to comply will result in your complete destruction. The Vrak captain laughed. Earth? Never heard of it. You're outnumbered and outgunned, little ships. Run home. Commander Reed glanced at his weapons officer. Light them up. With pleasure, sir. The human fleet opened fire. What happened next would be talked about in every corner of the galaxy for generations to come. The Vrak were about to learn a terrible truth about the universe. Some species evolved on gentle worlds where life was easy. Humans were not one of them. Asterisk. The first salvo from the human ships hit the Vrak flagship like a hammer from hell. Railgun rounds traveling at a fraction of light. Speed punched through the shields as if they were paper. Missile pods erupted from the human frigates, each warhead guided by artificial intelligence that could calculate 1,000,000 trajectories per second. Laser batteries carved glowing lines across the black of space. The Vrak captain stared in disbelief as his shields failed in under 10 seconds. Impossible. Return fire. All batteries. His command deck exploded. The flagship split in half. Venting atmosphere and bodies into space, the 2 remaining Vrak warships tried to turn, tried to run, but the human vessels were faster. Fighter craft screamed from the Phoenix's launch bays, small, deadly machines piloted by humans who had trained their entire lives for this moment. Alpha Wing, take the engines on Warship 2. Beta Wing, weapons systems on Warship 3, ordered Lieutenant Tom Grady, leader of the fighter squadron. Copy that, boss. Time to take out the trash, came the reply. On Kalara Prime, Mira and her family felt the ground shake as explosions lit up the sky. But these weren't Vrak weapons. These were their ships being destroyed, falling from orbit in burning chunks. What's happening? Tal asked, pressing his face against the shelter's small window. Through the smoke and fire, they could see something new. Smaller craft, sleek and dark, were chasing the Vrak raiders through the atmosphere. The raiders were faster than anything the Kalari had ever built, but these new ships were faster still. A Vrak raider fired at a human fighter. The human pilot barely moved, rolling through the blast and returning fire with a burst from his cannon. The raider exploded. They're winning, Mira whispered in shock. Commander Reed watched the battle unfold on his tactical display. The second Vrak warship was crippled, drifting. The third was trying to jump at faster than light speed, but human missiles found its jump drive first. The explosion was spectacular. Sir, picking up distress calls from the surface. Vrak ground forces are retreating to their landing craft, reported his communications officer. Don't let them leave, Reed said flatly. No survivors, no warnings. I want every Vrak in this system eliminated. Sir, that's a lot of targets. Some are near civilian areas. Reed's eyes were cold. Our Marines are trained for urban combat. Deploy them. Rules of engagement. Protect the Kalari at all costs. The Vrak get no mercy. Dropships fell from the Phoenix like metal rain. Inside each one, human Marines sat in powered armor, weapons ready. Sergeant David Miller checked his squad one final time. Remember your training. The locals are friendly blue skin, peaceful people. Anyone shooting at them is the enemy. Keep the civilians safe. Eliminate the raiders. Clear? Clear, Sergeant. His squad shouted back. The dropship hit the ground hard. The ramp dropped, and the Marines stormed out into a Kalari city that was burning. Vrak raiders were dragging civilians toward their ships, weapons pointed at the helpless Kalari. Contact front, Miller shouted, raising his rifle. The Marines opened fire with precision. High-velocity rounds found their targets. Vrak raiders fell, their armor no match for human weapons. Those who tried to fight back discovered that humans moved faster than seemed possible. Their reactions honed by evolution on a world where everything was trying to kill them. Myra watched from the shelter entrance as the strange soldiers appeared. They were shorter than the Vrak, but moved like predators. Their armor was covered in weapons, and their helmets hid their faces. One of them approached her family, and she pulled Tal behind her protectively. The soldier stopped, then slowly removed his helmet. Mira gasped. The being before her looked almost Kalari, but different. Stronger, harder. His eyes held something she had never seen in her peaceful people, the cold calculation of a killer. "Ma'am, we're here to help," Sergeant Miller said gently. "Are you hurt?" You killed them all," Mira stammered, looking at the wrack bodies in the street. "Yes, ma'am. That's what we do." Miller glanced at the burning city. "Your distress call reached Earth. We came as fast as we could." Earth? Mira had heard the name before, seen it in the galactic database. A classified world. A restricted system. A planet marked with warning signs. "You're from a Deathworld," she whispered, and suddenly everything made sense. The violence, the weapons, the way these humans moved like hunters. Miller smiled grimly. "I suppose we are. But today, Mom, that's a good thing." Above them, the last wreck ship tried to escape orbit. A human missile found it. The explosion lit up the sky like a second sun. The battle for Kalara Prime was over. It had lasted 17 minutes. Asterisk. The fires were still burning when dawn came to Kalara Prime. The Kalari emerged from their shelters slowly, carefully, unable to believe the nightmare was over. The sky, once filled with raider ships, was now patrolled by human fighters. The streets, once controlled by the Vrak, were now guarded by human marines. Myra walked through her city with Tal, stepping over debris and trying not to look at the bodies. Medical teams from the human ships had set up stations throughout the city, treating the wounded. She watched as a human medic knelt beside an injured Kalari child, working with calm efficiency. "Your bone is broken, but I can fix it," the medic said softly. "This will hurt a little, but you're very brave." The child whimpered as the medic set the bone, but the human's hands were gentle despite their obvious strength. Mira noticed something. The medic's arms were covered in scars. Old wounds, healed but never forgotten. "You've been hurt before," Myra said quietly. The medic looked up and smiled sadly. "Many times. On Earth, we learn to treat injuries early. We have to." Commander Reed stood in the Kalari government building, facing the Council of Elders. The Kalari leaders were grateful, but clearly terrified. They kept glancing at the Marines standing guard by the doors, weapons always ready. "Commander Reed," began Elder Voss, his voice shaking slightly, "we cannot thank you enough for saving our world. But we must ask, why did you come? We have nothing Earth needs. No resources, no technology you don't already possess." Reed looked confused. "You sent a distress call. People were dying. That's why we came. But the cost, the fuel, the weapons, the time. Your government will expect payment, yes? Trade agreements?" "No," Reed said simply. "You asked for help. We helped. That's how it works." The elders looked at each other, baffled. This made no sense in their understanding of the galaxy. Every species traded, bargained, calculated cost versus benefit. Even the Galactic Council required payment for protection. "We don't understand your people," Elder Voss admitted. "You're so violent, so dangerous. Yet you crossed 40 light years to save strangers. You risk your lives for us. Why?" Reed thought for a moment. "May I show you something?" He pulled up a holographic display of Earth. The elders leaned forward, curious. The planet looked beautiful blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. "This is our homeworld," Reed explained. "It looks peaceful, doesn't it? But Earth is what the galaxy calls a death world. Our gravity is twice what you're used to. Our weather can kill in minute storms with winds that tear apart buildings, temperatures that freeze or boil. Our oceans have predators the size of your largest ships. Our land has creatures that hunt in packs, use venom, or can crush bones with their jaws. The display showed images, hurricanes, earthquakes, lions, sharks, snakes, bears. The elders watched in horror. Even our plants can kill, Reed continued, and we're not alone. Every Deathworld in the galaxy breeds species like us. Strong, adaptable, aggressive. We had to be, or we would have died out millions of years ago. So you're warriors because you had no choice, Elder Voss said slowly. We're warriors because Earth made us warriors, Reed corrected. But here's what Earth also taught us: cooperation. Humans survived because we learned to work together, to protect the weak, to answer the call when someone needs help. On Earth, if you hear someone crying for help and you ignore it, you're not human. You're a monster. Myra had entered the room quietly, listening. That's why you came, she said, not for profit or power. Because it was the right thing to do. Reed nodded. Exactly. The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The humans, the mysterious species from the restricted Deathworld, had answered a distress call. They had obliterated an entire Vrak raiding fleet in minutes. They had saved a world that couldn't save itself. The Galactic Council held an emergency session. Some members were grateful. Others were terrified. One thing was clear. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. Other raider groups, pirate clans, and warlike species watched the footage of the battle and felt something they hadn't felt in years. Fear. The Vrak had been strong, well-armed, experienced. The humans had destroyed them like insects dot in the dark corners of the galaxy. A new warning began to spread. Stay away from Earth. Stay away from their allies. The Deathworlders have entered the stage, and they protect their own. On Kalara Prime, Mira stood with Sergeant Miller, watching the human ships prepare to leave orbit. The repairs would take months, but the Kalari would survive. They had a guardian now. Will you come back if we call again? She asked. Miller smiled. You're under human protection now. Call us, and we'll be here. Every time. That's a promise. As the human fleet jumped back into faster-than-light travel, Elder Voss turned to his council. We asked for help, and the Deathworlders answered. The galaxy will never be the same. He was right. Humanity had arrived, and the universe would have to make room for the warriors from Earth. End of story? Asterisk.